will encourage you to do your best. You don't have to waste time talking about age.
But even with the high age, we feel she deserves now to rest and give a chance to somebody else to continue with the work.
My first encounter with Sister Betty was on the 19th of January 2009 at St. John Bosco Church. That was my first day in Kenya, and I was welcomed cheerfully by her. And since then I developed interest in knowing more about her. When I engaged more with her, I got inspired by her cheerfulness, love and zeal for children on the street. Sister Betty, a Lotto sister from Ireland, came to Kenya in 1958.
In about the 1970s, I was teaching in many schools, in Loreto schools, and in the 1970s I did a sort of, would you call it a refresher course in a place called Gaba, which was well known, which was in Uganda. It was a year's course in the Vatican II, and there at that course was a Father Arnold Grohl, a white father. Now he was missioned to Nairobi, to St. Teresa's parish in Eastleigh, and he became very aware of the issue of children on the streets of Nairobi. All right, and he felt something needed to be done. So there I was. Now I had, one of my times in the teaching profession, I had taught in Kiambu in a building that is now the municipal council. So I said, oh goodness, how am I going to, here am I, Mzungu, non-speaking Kikuyu, whatnot. So I had a pair of shoes that I needed to get mended, all right? And I knew there would be a shoemaker in the market, so I trotted into the market with my shoes to get mended. So I sit on a stool waiting for a thing, and I'm sitting there looking around. Of course, in no time, the child comes, all right? You see? So I'm there, I say, no. I said, I'll buy you a cup of tea though, all right? He's an Anua chai, all right? That. So I think I can even remember the first voice. So I had about four boys the first day to buy tea for. Sit there and buy tea in the market, all right? So I have another pair of shoes that need to get mended. I found the sitting and getting your shoes mended was an interesting place to sit, all right? So I'd be back again getting another pair of shoes mended. So this time I'd have about 8. So by the time I think I went for the third pair of shoes, I had about, at that time, in the committee at the district children's, I had met this man called Philip Karimi. I asked him, I said, Philip, would you ever come with me? Because now I said, there are so many children, and I said, I don't speak Kikuyu, you know? So that day we went, we had about 20, all right, for tea. So we sat having tea and talking. And we said, it's getting a bit expensive buying tea. Let me see if I can get some place where we can make our own tea, and then you can have tea, all right?
At the age of 85, Betty still drives around the street of Kiambu, following up the program which she started in 1996 with other volunteers for children on the street in Kiambu town.
I can say you won't see a child on the street now. Why? Because it's school hours, all right? Mm-hmm. We've got them off the streets. You don't see children, all right? In Kiambu, my biggest challenge was the attitude. I found that was the terribly negative attitude that people had towards children on the streets. They were called as dirty, unkempt. You didn't talk to them. You didn't let them into your shop. You didn't let them into your church, really. If they came into the church, people moved away from you, you know?
Betty is a source of inspiration to many people around Kiambu, and they are grateful for her zeal and dedication to these children on the street.
She's a hard worker herself. She has that genuine love for children on the street. That interest in children in special circumstances inspired me, because she encouraged you also to do the best you can. And herself, if we found a child on the street, herself, she would stop and talk to the child and encourage the child to come to us.
She came to Kiambu town when the town really needed the service, somebody to help curb up the scenario of dealing with the children who are on the streets. I would say during those times, back in 1996, it was horrific in such that at the back streets of Kiambu, you would not get a way through, because most of we used to call them street boys, and it was very dangerous. And sister, as one of the Loreto Convent sisters, became a volunteer and started the program. And we, as a community member, gave her a hand, and she has been wonderful to this program.
What inspired me from Sister Betty is that her passion and the way she dedicated herself to this kind of work, loving children the way they are. We use the kind of approach that we call non-violent kind of approach. You have to embrace these children the way they are, whether they are dirty, whether they are smoking, whether they are sniffing, the way they are, just appreciate them the way they come. At the end of the day, you'll be able to assist them. So that's what Sister Betty do. And also you have also learned from her how to embrace these children.
I challenge you, the people of this town and those that trade here on market days like today, to consider your responsibility to children. Are we always to hear Kiambu has a high rate of child abuse? When will this violence end? Last year, 3 young people that we had known died in violent circumstances here on your streets. We were all children once. If a child lives with criticism, that child tends to condemn. If a child lives with hostility, that child tends to fight. How many times do we hear that I was beaten as a child, therefore I beat the children now? Is that going to continue? That the way to solve problems is to kick and fight your way. But if a child lives with tolerance, that child learns to be patient. If a child lives with approval, that child tends to have confidence in herself or himself. There are times when it is difficult, and our disappointments have been many, but we have also seen the finer quality of the children and of their parents, especially the mothers, who have lived on the streets, and in particular, they are endowed with an inner strength and potential for greater things if given a chance. I do believe the glory of God is surely each young person fully alive. Let us promote a stable childhood so that we can have more and more responsible adults.
She's been tirelessly being concerned with children. She has educated the social workers, and what she's left in Kiambu is there to be remembered through the DC's office, that's the District Commissioner's office, the District Children's office, and also to the community.